He's not a bat, he's a man who fights crime. And we're gonna watch him fight for a minute at a time. With John and Niall and a guest who doesn't rhyme. It's Bat Minute!
Attention, citizens of fair Gotham, and welcome once again to Bat Minute Forever, the show that dishes out joygasms 3 days a week. I am one of your hosts, John Parker, and I really shouldn't quote the Riddler.
And I am in deep mourning this episode. You'll know why, and when we get to it. But yes, it is I, Niall McGowan.
I feel for you. I really do. But we are joined once again by our very, very special guests, our dynamic duo of Father David Mowry and Doug Greenberg.
I guess I'll chime in. Hello! Thank you, gentlemen, for having me back.
I love throwing people off by doing them both at the same time.
Yeah, because nobody wants to jump in first.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm glad to be back for this special church and state edition of Bat Minute Forever.
Well, this is minute 95, and the minute starts with the mangling of manhood, and it ends with a prancing prat.
Nicely done.
But yeah, this moment now is just like, there's been a lot of cartoon sound effects throughout this movie. This is the one that breaks me, where I'm just like, no, like, I get it, I get what you're doing, but no. Like
the spitoon pating, I could be okay with. The whatever that is when he scratches a scratch, no.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he's not just destroying the Batcave and our sanity, but his own groin, which is just like, no, we don't need to see that.
Have some self-respect.
You guys, I don't know if you know or not, but that's a common thing in baseball too. Like a baseball idea that you're adjusting your cup, your athletic supporter.
Yeah.
So
okay. It seemed like a sports thing. Yeah.
Yeah, because he's really doing the whole baseball shtick, like in the lead up. He's got this, when he's making the face to throw the bomb, it's just like his tongue's very severely in the corner of his cheek.
That was supposed to simulate like a knob of tobacco in his cheek.
Oh, okay.
Chewing gum, kids. Of course, all those players, they have chewing gum in their mouths.
Yeah. I only had chewing tobacco once, and it was revolting, and I vomited. So they.
I've never got near it.
My freshman roommate when I was in my first year of seminary was a 24-year-old former butcher from Kentucky who had heard the call of God and was entering into the priesthood. He had empty soda bottles all over his side of the room where he would spit his tobacco juice once he was done with his chaw, and it was disgusting. I would sometimes sneak it into his pillow in order to passive-aggressively get him to stop leaving it in the room, but for some reason that didn't work.
He maybe liked it. No, like just even having it around.
Is it because we got really hooked on the smell? It's like, I want to get the scent of chewed tobacco. I wonder if I can make an air freshener or something.
Yeah, candles. They make candles that actually, I have smelt candles that say tobacco smell, but they're okay. They don't. It doesn't smell like someone smoking a cigarette.
Well, if it's pipe tobacco, I could be okay with that because pipe tobacco smells great.
Yeah.
It all tastes like smoke to me. It just tastes like burning no matter what it smells like. But I like smelling someone who is smoking a pipe nearby.
No, agreed, totally. Because I tried to smoke for a while. I was like, you know what? It's the cool thing to do. I'm going to smoke. It's not. Not only is it not cool, it's disgusting. I tried for ages. I was like, no, I'll eventually like this. No.
No.
I don't know what it is about cops too, but a lot of guys I work with have the habit of doing the dip, the chewing tobacco. And when you're indoors and you're doing it, you're not going to spit it on the floor, or we don't have spitoons. So they carry around like a plastic water bottle, and they spit in there. But now they're walking around with a bottle of their own dark, discolored spit, and and when it's mixed with the tobacco juice and everything, it's really kind of thick and viscous. So it's disgusting. It is disgusting. I don't know how these guys do it.
At least they're putting it in something.
I guess so.
Do they hang that from their belts along with the pouch that holds their, common issue coin?
And this is the standard issue Spitoon bottle.
Yep.
Here's your gun, here's your badge, here's your coin, and here's your Spitoon.
Yeah, they give you the
Protect
bottle
and
and the
serve.
holster for it.
We all know that trope in movies, where the chief is annoyed at the renegade cop, and he's like, "I want your gun, your badge, and your bottle."
You can have the badge and the gun, but I'm keeping the bottle.
That just seems like us inviting, though, the renegade cop to just like empty the bottle out over the table as he's storming out.
Dirty Harry totally would. That's why they call him Dirty Harry.
Oh, yes.
He doesn't know how to keep the top on his bottle. Well, of course, one of the Dirty Harry movies, The Deadpool, of course, features Jim Carrey in a very, very minor role.
Wait, what?
Yeah, it was one of those things I kind of randomly knew in the back of my head, and then it was on TV quite recently. I think I posted about it in the listeners' cave because it's a scene of Jim Carrey. This is I think it's pre-Earth Girls Are Easy. Like, he's playing like a flamboyant Alice Cooper-esque kind of rock star. And he's only in it very briefly because he's found dead, like mere moments later. But the director of a music video he's working on is Liam Neeson. So there's a scene of Ra's al Ghul and the Riddler in conversation.
Well, I cannot think of two people more different than Clint Eastwood and Jim Carrey.
Yeah, oh my God. I'm surprised Clint Eastwood didn't just murder him on set.
That's the thing. Their one scene together is that I think he's supposed to have overdosed the Jim Carrey character. And then so they find his body, and Dirty Harry's, for whatever reason, called in to investigate this. And so Jim Carrey's lying shirtless, completely still, as Clint Eastwood's just kind of nosing around his body and stuff. And I was just like, this is the most still you will ever get Jim Carrey. And it's and thank God too, because if he was doing his shtick with Clint, if Tommy Lee Jones couldn't sanction that kind of buffoonery, there would have been a 44 Magnum shoved somewhere where Jim Carrey didn't particularly want it. But yeah, though, speaking of Jim Carrey, we do then get him delivering another line that I guess is supposed to be funny, but it's just he's saying a thing. But he hops on the Batmobile and says, "Somebody call the fat lady, she's on in 5." And then dumps, this annoyed me. He dumps a bag of these bombs, and they've clearly been wound up to blow up, and they're all wriggling around. And then he steps away and then pushes a button on his cane to detonate them. And it's why does he need to detonate them if they've already been wound up?
Yeah, or why does he wind them up if he can detonate them?
Yeah. It's just some consistency, please.
Come on, Riddler, just pick a method.
Yeah.
We don't care which one, just pick one.
It's got to be consistent.
Yeah. And again, just another instance of the Riddler's cane is just the sonic screwdriver, because it can just do whatever he needs to do at any given moment. But we'll say, we think we were asking last week, John, how did the cane discover where the cave was? And there's actually a couple of lines in the novelization I must have glanced over at the time. It says that it's actually pulsating out sound waves, which will be read, it bounces them out and then back. And apparently it can detect wherever there's a gap.
That kind of makes sense, at least.
Yeah, so if you were in a room and you saw there's a big massive gap behind this, that could be a secret passage. And I think that's not in this movie. This movie is just a freaking door magically opens for him and everything when he's looking for the damn thing. But that's how Peter David explains it in the novelization, at least.
If any person is a Time Lord, I would put good money on Jim Carrey actually being a Time Lord.
Oh yeah,
actually in real life.
Yeah, he's so strange.
But here's one thing though that's I guess kind of a callback, and it's keeping up a bizarre theory that I had that I felt held no water until I saw this.
Oh.
But you might recall that several minutes throughout the movie, I've noted a Beach Boys connection throughout everything.
Yeah,
where
yeah.
like, you know, Edward Nygma shouts like, "Oh, Surf's Up," and I was like, "Oh, Surf's Up's a Beach Boy song and an album." And you know, at one point, Sugar says, "Oh, don't worry, baby." And it's like, "Oh, that's a Beach Boy song." And it's all like, "Oh, because Paul Dano played Brian Wilson in a movie, and he's also playing the Riddler in this new Batman movie. Oh, isn't that a coinky dink?"
Oh, yeah.
See, now in the original Bachelor's draft, as the Riddler's blowing up the Batmobile, he's supposed to say, "And she'll have fun, fun, fun till Daddy took the Batmobile away."
Oh.
Which is quoting a Beach Boys song. So, oh my god, it is tying together.
Which is a better joke about the destruction of the Batmobile than the fat lady singing.
Yeah.
Yeah, much. I don't want to joke here, right? Because I mean,
Well,
even
it's not
though
up to you, is it? Jim
well,
Carrey is in control.
Jim will do Jim.
You know what I don't want at second 29? To see every inch of Jim Carrey.
Yeah, that's quite revealing. It's a
dear.
lot.
That's the thing, though, because I'm not a fan of the Riddler outfit in the... Weirdly enough, I like his end outfit when he's in like the silver thing, because that's like, oh, that's, you know, final boss outfit. Fair
When he's in
enough.
his Gozer cosplay.
Exactly. Yeah, that's actually spot on.
It's fantastic.
But I don't like the leotard throughout. I just think like, if I was a villain, I'd want something I'd want something cooler than a onesie.
Well, I agree, but they at least try and explain why he's wearing that stupid thing. It's because he's trying to be that machine.
Yeah, but that machine had a tunic and a hat.
Yeah, he had it for a bit.
Yeah, I just would have preferred. But the thing is, they also did have alternate outfits that they were planning for the Riddler. I'll put them up in the Skype. Well, there's just one that's I particularly liked. But,
Well, I was always a fan of the design they had for the Riddler in the animated series with the bowler hat and the suit coat, but you couldn't do that here because then you've got two besuited villains. That's just too much similarity in terms of style. So I could see why they would need to differentiate Two-Face and Riddler in terms of costume. I just wish they could have come up with something more than the onesie pajamas he's wearing.
Yeah, I think it's just like, I don't know, it kind of makes it look too silly. And I know the whole movie's silly. Like that's the pitch. But it's also just like, I don't know, it just seems it's too much for me. Like it's too 1960s Frank Gorshin Riddler. And that has its time and its place, but
and maybe if it was a little more obviously homemade, you know, like they did with Catwoman's suit in the last movie, where it was more patchwork and put together, where it's obviously this crazy guy in his terrible apartment has thrown this together, that would create this interesting contrast with Two-Face's obviously very expertly tailored put together thing, but it would also reveal the kind of patchwork, oddball, obsession, wacko theme that unites the two of them.
Yeah, that'd be a good idea, actually, yeah. See, you can improve this movie with, like, putting a tiny bit of thought into it, can't you? We've all said things that make it a better film.
But you can see there, I put in the Skype chat, that was the concept art for the Riddler outfit initially. And it is just kind of, it's like a suit.
Oh, yeah.
It's got like a suit jacket with the question marks and then purple plaid pants. He's still got the brothel creepers.
I like the
And then big kipper tie and stuff.
I like the question marks. Like that's his brand. You know, the suit jacket with the question marks. The thing is,
Yeah, you gotta have that.
and especially during, well, I think you see it more in Disney movies, but this seemed like the time for it. Bad guy colors is that lime green for some reason. And it's like, we wouldn't be able to tell that he was a bad guy unless he was lime green. And you see it later on with the the brain waves that are floating through the air and stuff. It's all like that lime green sort of smoke.
Oh, and that's my favorite color. That probably says a lot about me.
You're evil.
I'm evil. Oh, no, I don't want to be there.
Oh, just lie down on this couch here, John, and now tell us about your mother.
That just means like anytime John's over like visiting, like for like a Movies by Minutes meetup, Doug's just going to be constantly eyeing him suspiciously.
Got one eye on
I
you.
got a
Up to
hunch.
something. Niall, I bet as well this minute is probably one of your most heartbreaking moments in movie history because your Batmobile gets destroyed.
That's it. This is the end of the Kilmer Batmobile, which I throughout this season, I've been vehemently defending. I absolutely love this Batmobile. I'm devastated to see that it just gets taken out in such an indignant manner as well.
Yeah, and it can't be downhill from here, right? The one in the next movie's got to be better.
Oh, boy. But what do you guys think of this Batmobile? Like, are you pro or con?
I'm go ahead, Doug.
See, I knew that was going to happen.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Father.
I'm much more a fan of the original Burton design. I like the matte black, more angular looking Batmobile. The neon blue and designer hubcaps doesn't really do it for me on this particular model. And the big old fin coming off the top of that. It seems like there would be some clearance issues coming out of the Batcave.
Yes, I hate that thing.
The original Burton design, I like how low to the ground it feels, which makes it look really fast. This looks more like, I don't know, a sneaker with all the ribs along the sides, and makes it feel much lighter and flimsier to me. Mm-hmm. And it just doesn't sell the kind of power and oomph that the Batmobile needs to have.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing about the Michael Keaton Batmobile. That one is far and away my favorite. I don't know if I get down with like the more futuristic design. I think Michael Keaton's Batmobile is pretty simple. It has sort of like old 50s cars notes to it.
Yeah, I can see that. Yeah,
and but it kind of like also resembles like a sleek Corvette. You know what I mean? And these, I don't know, there's just the futuristic with the grill on the side and the fins, those oversized fins, and the glowing wheels. I don't know. I'm not as big a fan of that one.
We'll say though that this may be the finale for this car in this movie, but the Batmobile, the Kilmer Mobile, would appear again on film. I know way back in the day, John, you mentioned the Drew Carey appearance it has.
Yeah.
Episode of the Drew Carey show, or him and I can't remember. It's been that long since I saw the Drew Carey show. But that woman he worked with that he really hated, Mimsy, I want to say her name was, but I'm not. That could be way off. But yeah, they're driving around in the Batmobile. But it also appears in the 2011 remake of Arthur, starring Russell Brand in the role made famous by Dudley Moore.
I forgot that existed.
Oh, I think everybody did. I briefly watched a bit of it when it was on TV one day because Greta Gerwig plays the love interest. I was like, oh, I love Greta Gerwig. And then her powers were not enough to persuade me to keep on with it. I was like, nah, this is...
Sometimes you just need a paycheck. Right, Greta?
Yeah. Oh, this is like back before she was like Greta Gerwig. Too.
Yeah.
Like she was this indie movie actress who's in things with Jay Duplass all the time, you know? But yeah, the entire opening sequence of that movie is Russell Brand as Arthur, who's obviously crazy rich. That's the thing. That I don't think Arthur could even get made now. Like, crazy rich white guy flaunts his privilege and just goes around being a drunk asshole all the time.
Yeah,
to the point where the police are just like, "Oh, Arthur, you."
The reason you couldn't make that now is because it's like every day in Hollywood. That's just like real life.
True, yeah. Oh no, you'd have to change it where he changes his ways or something by not even the end, by halfway through.
Yeah, that could well happen in the movie, but I bailed. So
yeah, I don't blame you. There's no way I was going to watch that remake.
But yeah, Russell Brand he's in the Panther suit. Actually, it's that the benippled Batman suit. Surprisingly, they don't make a joke out of it. That would have been a thing. That would have been an easy target. But yeah, him and like his buddy in the movie, who's played by Luis Guzman, who great character actor Luis Guzman, prime example of it needed a paycheck. Clearly in this example, and the two of them go out like on a joyride. They're going to Arthur's like mother's campaign meeting or something or other, and they're zooming around like getting chased by the cops in this Batmobile, and then it gets stuck under some sort of comical statue, which I believe is actually stuck by the fin. So I guess technically they just put that scene in the movie because the screenwriter was like, I want to prove that fin would just be an annoyance to Batman more than anything. And there's hijinks, and it's just like, But that was the last screen presence of this version of the Kilmer-mobile, so it still exists in the Warner Brothers lot somewhere, I guess. But...
No, they blew it up. What are you talking about? We just watched it.
This looks like a papier-mâché version of the Batmobile that they blew up.
Well, that's another problem I have with it, yeah. Like, this thing is meant to be sort of an impenetrable tank of a car, and he just blows it up from within, granted, but it crumbles.
Yeah, the way it buckles with the explosion, like is yeah.
I don't like that. I don't like that. I like the idea of him destroying it because what better way to get a Batman? Destroy the Batcave, destroy the car, take all of that away from him. What's he gonna do?
Which is interesting, given that we've had the scene before with Bruce saying, "From this day, Batman is no more." It's like, so destroying the Batcave actually makes things easier for Batman at this point?
That'd be quite funny, yeah, if he goes, oh, thanks.
Oh. I was wondering what I was going to do with all that. eBay was going to be an absolute nightmare to navigate with all this, but this is so easy now.
Because we pointed out, actually, that, he says, I'm not going to be Batman anymore, and all he does is turn off some lights and go upstairs. It's like, that's still there. That's tempting you.
Yep, job done.
Didn't even lock the door.
You don't want to be tempted. So the Riddler's helping him. He's removing temptation.
He's a helper, that Riddler.
We'll say as well, because now we do return to the chaos that's outside with Two-Face's goons attacking Bruce and Chase.
Oh yeah, and these goons go down like the Putty Men from Power Rangers, right? Like they just go flying.
They can't stop getting in each other's way.
No, they're useless. And I get, it's supposed to be funny, but I prefer it when the villains at least seem competent. Like, I don't like this current thing in Star Wars where people make fun of the stormtroopers. They're like, there's running gags now where the stormtroopers always miss. You watch that first movie, the whole point is they're very good. Obi-Wan even says they're precise.
Well, yeah,
I know we don't see them being it.
It's the faceless nature of the stormtroopers, right? It's this implacable foe. They just keep coming. There are always more of them. You can never run out of them. It symbolizes the Imperial Army's power. Here you have all these goons that are dressed the same way. They're part of Two-Face's gang. I kind of like how modern superhero movies go, where instead they concentrate all the mook power into one henchman or into one underling who is kind of a mini boss that the hero faces before fighting the main bad guy, because that creates higher stakes, and you get a better sense of the character, and you get a better sense of how the hero has to advance toward through the various challenges. This one, Chase and Bruce are able to throw a suit of armor at them, and what's funny to me is as you watch the suit of armor tumble down the stairs, Bruce is kind of cheap because he's got one of those plastic CPR rescue dummies as the torso for the suit of armor.
Oh my! I didn't even notice. Yeah,
I thought that was one of the henchmen at first because it's red. It's kind of looks like their head mask.
Yeah, it's got that red cloth underneath it, but no, that's it's got
it's a crash
rescue
test
Stan or whatever.
Batman's got to keep his safety certificates up to date,
Yeah.
But these,
and I guess he's like, oh, just throw it on the floor. And Alfred's like, we have to put it somewhere, sir. I don't want this just lying out in the house.
Well, you want to make sure, you keep your training up. I have to do that once a year at my work, and every time I go to do it again, I've completely forgotten what I'm supposed to do.
Just ball your fist and pound on the person's chest. What could go wrong?
Basically, I did get to use an automatic defibrillator last time, though. That was fun. It speaks to you now. Like, you just put these little pads on, and it'll say, like, open pouch 1. And you're like, okay. And it's speaking, and it's like, place this on, it tells you exactly where. On this part on their side, on this rib, blah, blah, blah. And then it'll, say, shock being administered in 5 seconds. Stay clear. And you're like, oh, okay. Like, you don't have to actually do anything. That was cool.
No. You just attach the pads and they pretty much do the rest.
Yeah.
This reminds me of at the end of Street Fighter, though, when you think Jean-Claude Van Damme's defeated M. Bison, like the Raul Julia version, and it turns out he has like a little automatic CPR thing in his tunic.
Oh, yeah.
And you see it like pumping on his chest and stuff. It's like somebody clearly saw that and they're like, this rest of this movie's pretty stupid, but that ain't a bad idea. But well, one thing though, we actually, before we go up into the rest of the scene, have to compliment Jim Carrey on his cane skills, because we've mentioned before, guy practiced a lot, broke a lot of furniture in his trailer, did himself an injury several times, like learning how to flip this cane around, and that guy knows his way around a cane. Like, he's doing a lot of impressive stuff with it. It really stands out as like, yeah, all right, you learned a thing. Good for you, guy. An
inspiration to high school color guard members everywhere.
I was going to say, maybe he was a baton twirler in his high school.
I can imagine that's the thing. Like, Edward Nygma thought that would be a cool way to meet girls. Where he's like, I wanted to be on the football team.
That's where
I wasn't
the green
buff enough.
unitard comes from. That was his color guard uniform.
That's it.
It all makes sense now.
And he's just ironed on all the black question marks.
Uncovering the truth.
But yeah, so just kudos for that, Jim. But we're back up here now. We get the conclusion of Two-Face and his flipping the coin till he just gets what he wants business. And there's a theory going around the internet that tries to pass the buck on this scene, and I feel I should just like shoot it down right now, because no, that's not what's happening here. People say that he does 3 coin flips and there's 3 people in the house, so each coin flip is, the first one would have been for Alfred, that's you don't kill Alfred. The second one, you don't kill Chase, and then the third one's for Bruce Wayne, and he's like, oh, I finally got one. But I don't think that tracks at all.
The grinding noise you hear is me rolling my eyes.
But for one thing, I don't think he's only flipped this coin 3 times. Like, because the time has passed since we've last seen him. I think he's been sitting doing it like, he's done it like 15, 20 times. Like, just waiting.
There's an establishing shot before these minutes start where we see Two-Face just chilling, hanging out in the chair, and as Bruce parkours across the front hall table, he's flipping his coin to establish, oh, look, it's Two-Face. He's doing the thing that Two-Face does.
I think he has a reaction on that first flip in the previous minute.
Yeah.
Where he kind of like, he doesn't want to look at it, and then he quickly looks at it. Like, he's going like, all right, what is it? Like, he's as if he's like, all right, this is beginning to irritate me now. What is the results? Kind of thing. And yeah, I don't get there's any indication that this is, 3 flips for 3 victims in the house. I think it's like, no, he's there. I'm gunning directly for Bruce Wayne. And every goddamn time, I've flipped it like 40 times, and every time it's come up clean. And I'm just getting annoyed because I want to kill him so much.
Well, then he pulls the gun out and fires, and he kills Bruce. Bruce is dead. Batman's down yet again.
No!
It's like the 10th time we've said, but yeah, this time it has to be real, right? Well, the way he falls down these stone steps, ouch.
Well, yeah, big props to the stuntman in this scene, because that is not an easy thing to do. First taking the tumble from the first flight of steps and then sliding so that it looks like his head is hitting every single stair on the way down without actually doing injury to himself is very impressive. That's some good physical stunt work.
Yeah, it's great. And that has to hurt. I don't care if you're like the best stuntman in the world.
I don't care what universe you're from. That's gotta hurt.
No.
That's gotta
hurt. Oh, no. Niall, why? But I've fallen down my stairs at home, and I was in agony for weeks. My leg had a giant bruise on it. Oh.
Yeah.
The
thing
and then
is,
stone.
though, after all that, though, Bruce does recover from this pretty quickly as well. So.
Yeah, well, that's what training does,
What?
I guess. You know.
I don't know what movie you're watching. I'm looking at a dead man here at the bottom of these stairs. I mean, there's no way. Even if he's just unconscious, it looks like Two-Face is coming over to finish the job.
Yeah, prancing over.
Oh my gosh.
We'll say there's a moment in the novelization that clarifies something. I don't think. Well, I thought was kind of clarified just through assumption. But it mentions, there's a little sequence that's supposed to be here of Alfred, who's obviously locked in the closet. He's got, like Bruce Wayne, he has a little telephone watch That's, the swanky video watch.
Oh, yeah.
So it's just Alfred, basically, how he gets out of this is that he phones the police through his watch. And I never got that in the movie. I always assumed, because we know it's coming way down the line, that Dick Grayson's coming back. I assumed Dick Grayson comes back and lets Alfred out. Because that opens a whole other barrel of stuff of like, Alfred calls the police to come deal with this. And they're coming in and find Bruce Wayne has been injured. They've abducted his girlfriend. And I guess there's loads of smoke coming out of like where the silver closet is. And Alfred's having to be, oh, don't look down there. Nothing's happened there. Don't worry about that. And then there'll just be a whole lot of questions of like, so the Riddler and Two-Face have kidnapped Bruce's girlfriend. Why? Why Bruce Wayne's girlfriend? Like, I wouldn't possibly know why it would be Bruce Wayne's girlfriend. And does that mean that
you kidnap a billionaire's girlfriend and there's no reasonable explanation you can provide to police? I mean, that screams for ransom and kidnapping.
That is true, actually. Yeah, to be fair. About this, now I'm wondering, like, so later on when Gordon's got the signal on and stuff, and he's just, his immediate thing is like, oh, they've kidnapped some woman. We better get Batman onto this. Is that supposed to be like, yeah, that's what he was worried about the whole time, was like, oh, Chase Meridian has been abducted. Or, or what else is happening there? But I'm still holding on to the theory we had at the other week that when the Riddler and Two-Face infiltrate Wayne Manor with those Halloween masks, that they totally stole those off the trick-or-treaters that were outside.
Ah, yes.
So I do kind of like the idea, like the police arriving and there's like a bunch of beaten up kids lying around in a heap outside. But yeah, I just thought that I would imagine Alfred's actual training would be, well, you could even be trained enough to just know how to get himself out of a locked closet, basically, but that he would be like, don't ring the police because this is Batman business.
Mm-hmm.
That they've come for his house and they've blown up his Batcave. You don't get the police in to nosy around and wondering like, oh, did they go anywhere else? And just like, well, they certainly didn't go into the secret cave underneath the. It's like, it seems to be a lot of smoke in here. Are you sure it didn't go there?
Well, given the amount of police work they did over the suicide note, I think Alfred stands a pretty good chance of fooling them with that line.
Oh, that is ridiculous, that whole suicide plot. Oh.
I still couldn't get over that. The friggin' some random guy kills himself and the commissioner of police is called down to look at the note and go, yep, that's suicide, all right.
Yep, suicide, all right. Pretty open and shut.
No investigation.
I'm pretty sure the commissioner wouldn't be called for that kind of thing, right?
No, certainly
I
not.
guess Batman's just done. He's cleaned up the city, so it's like, got nothing else to do.
He's so hands-on. That's why the city's in such good shape, because that commissioner, he's down at every case.
Yes, micromanagement, the best leadership strategy.
Yep. Never goes wrong.
Yeah, you think in a big city, well, I mean, Gotham is supposed to be sort of New York, right? Or somewhere in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess it depends on which version you're looking at. But in a big,
I think it's.
Go ahead.
I was just gonna say, I think the comics thing now is that Metropolis is New York, Gotham is New Jersey. I think is.
Yeah, but they sometimes do base it on New York as well, don't they?
I think like back in
mix
the
it
day, it was like it was New York, and now where DC's more like continuity. It's like this is the way it works now.
Well, really, in reality, a police commissioner is more of a politician than a police officer. So especially,
that's what I pictured him as.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to ask. It seems like this movie treats him as, he is the first police officer, so he has to show up to everything, as opposed to the guy who makes sure the pension plan is looked after.
Right. Right. The police commissioner you would almost never see on scene unless it was a high profile thing.
Because it's your first season on the main show, Doug. Like you did a hiatus episode for Johnny Dangerously with us.
Indeed.
Of course, yeah. I was going to say you were on last season. No, it was that hiatus one.
But now I feel like, I hope we're not insulting. Like, it turns out Doug's like, my dream as a child was to be Jim Gordon from the Tim Burton Batman movies or something.
That was my motivation to get into police work. No,
do you appreciate his performance at least throughout these 4 movies, or is it just like that man is an insult to the police?
Well, it's funny because like I look at police in movies and TV shows now through a different lens. You know, whereas I used to be able to just sit back and enjoy the police's role in a movie. And now, you know, I'll sit here, watch a movie or a TV show, and I'll be like, bullshit. I call it out left and right. Like, that would never happen. And it's kind of taking the enjoyment away from me.
Oh, no. You can't not, though. You can't turn that off, I suppose.
No.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I want to be portrayed properly in this Batman film.
I do turn it off, especially in a goofy film like this. Like I've always liked Jim Gordon as a character, you know, especially the Dark Knight trilogy. Jim Gordon.
Yeah.
Well, he's actually doing stuff in those movies. That helps.
Yeah.
As much as we love the Burton ones, he does absolutely nothing in those.
No.
He's such a putz.
Yeah.
I think like 50% of Chris Nolan's mandate was to redeem Jim Gordon in those movies. But yeah, does anyone have anything for this minute in particular, or shall we move on to the next one?
Oh, I'm good. I'm ready.
It's all the notes I have.
We will head off once more into the dark, dark night. No plugs today. People will be sick of me saying that. No plug. I'm not doing them on Wednesdays anymore. You get a Monday and Friday. It's to keep you tuned in. You go, oh, I really need to get in touch with all these wonderful guests. What do I do? Well, you're gonna have to tune in Friday, aren't you?
Keep them wanting more.
Now, one more thing I will say though, actually, just in relating to that concept art of the Riddler.
Oh yeah,
we mentioned earlier. I'm wondering if because they knew it was Jim Carrey, if that's why they've given him the Lloyd Christmas bowl cut in that concept art. Because he is totally rocking Jim Carrey's hair from Dumb and Dumber.
So they already knew who they wanted for it?
Yeah, think of that. Oh. They sitting chomping a cigar too. Like, so it's like, what vibe they were going for with this Riddler? Like bowl cut cigar and a suit.
Oh, I thought it was a helmet. Yeah, it's hair. I thought it was like X-Men. You know, like Charles Xavier.
Oh, no, it could have worked better actually, but it's also a kind of it's a purpley color, and I have noted throughout in all the scripts that they always specified his hair was supposed to be magenta, and I guess when they were in production, they're like, let's make it like a bright orange.
Yeah, Annie Lennox.
Yeah, I know that also ties into a thing that I believe someone brought up in the listeners' cave. The last time we had Riddler concept art on was when he had like the box hat, which was like his trilby, but it had like an inbuilt box device in it. As if like, he would go around wearing that all the time, I guess. And I believe it was actually a friend of ours, John, Kurt Dirt. He pointed out that was used for the toy design. For
he
Batman
did?
friend.
Yes, I remember this, yeah.
So yeah, you can get a toy of the Riddler who has that little bowler hat with a little white rim around it and a little thing dangling off the front. So there you go. Just we didn't mention it back then, but we're mentioning it now.
Well, on that bombshell, we will blow this cave and get out of here until Friday's episode, where we will just destroy all the goons, turn them into putty, and save the day once more.
And before we go, just pour one out for that Batmobile.
Pour one out, everybody.
One last one.
Respect.
Press
See
F
you
for
on
respect.
Friday.
F's in the chat.
Press F's for forever.
Oh, F4 forever, yes. When we're finished with the season, that's what we're saying. See you Friday.
Next time, dazed and contused, Bruce has been blown back by a bisected bandit's blast, and it seems that a second bullet may also be the last. But while the sword of Damocles is suspended above the city's sinister chevalier, which quizzical psycho may be his unexpected savior? Find out Friday. Same Bat Pod, different Bat Minute. Ba-da-da, ba-da-da-da-da-da-da. Ba-da-da.